I'm going crazy. 무뎌졌어.
Sighing heavily, you placed the last patient file on your table, massaging your head. You leaned on your chair and closed your eyes, relaxing your back. Being a physiotherapist for others, treating their bones and muscles, but when it comes to your own self, damn, never mind. You were about to leave as your shift finished, but someone knocked on your office door. Come in. You said, correcting your posture and your white coat. The door opened and two men entered. One of them was the director of the hospital, Mr. Jung. You stood up to greet them. Good evening, Mr. Jung. You shook your hand with him and the man. The director smiled at you and spoke. Good evening, Doc Ryan. Meet Mr. Jun, the president or owner of Jun Corporations. Your eyes widened, but you quickly acted normal, gulping a lump because you were not standing in front of a normal person but the richest person of Korea. You have only heard their name and work because your field is too far from there and status too. But what is he doing here? You questioned yourself. Nice to see you, Mr. Jun. Welcome to our hospital. You pulled a beautiful smile and greeting them. Mr. Jun smiled, but just in a simple way. You can somehow predict that the news with them is not good. Me too, Miss Ryan. Actually, I'm here with a request. Not as Mr. Jun, but as a father. You had a confused expression on your face. So it's a patient. Okay, please sit here. Both of them sit in front of you and you sit on your chair. Yes, now please tell me in detail. How can I help you? Mr. Jun looked at the director Jung and the director nodded in response. My only son is Jungkookff. He got in a car accident. You made a sympathetic look. This must be painful for their son and his parents too. You meet several families like this in your daily life. You can sense weariness in Mr. Jun's voice. And his leg is fractured, but his doctor said that he needs a physiotherapist for his treatment to get healed. And I knew Director Jung in medical field, and he assured me that you are perfect for this responsibility. He noted at its statement, physiotherapy for leg fractures is particularly important to help the bone heal. It targets exercises to help to reduce muscle atrophy, swelling, reduce the risk of activity and get you back to the things that you love. It is not just that the bone needs to heal, but the person too. Sir, is he lacking with confidence or any mental health after that incident? Mr. Jun sighed and nodded. He does, but he doesn't show much, but gets annoyed so easily and yell at house helpers. You understood the case and signed some papers of handling this case that Director Jung brought with him. Okay, then I'll be there tomorrow to have a full checkup on him. After that, we will decide whole procedure. Mr. John and director got up from their seat. Mr. John smiled and now it was happy and hope one. I'm so thankful, Doc Ryan. It's my job and not Mr. John. I'll do my best. They left and after them you also left to your home to have a good rest. Next day, you entered in a big mansion. Everything was so luxurious. Whoever chose the designs of interior and exterior is such a good designer. Then you saw a middle-aged woman walking downstairs in your direction. She was wearing an elegant dress that's a sign of refreshing personality. She stood in front of you in a perfect manner and pulled a pretty smile on her face. Dr. Ryan, I'm Mrs. Jun, Jungkook's mother. You gasped and pulled your hand to shake. Hello, Mrs. Jun. But instead of shaking hands, she hugged you calmly. You hugged her back. You are here to help my son in healing. This is my responsibility to treat you in the best way. You smiled at her because not most rich people are this good. You have met many rich families and many of them think of you like dust particles. They never gave a sincere smile, but Mrs. John is just the opposite of them. Thank you so much for your care and kindness, Mrs. John. You gladly answered. Mrs. John eyes went to the nurse behind you. Oh, actually, I need to examine your son today in first session, so I brought nurse with me. Mrs. John nodded, understanding. Sure, dear, this way, please. She guided you to her son's room. As Mrs. John opened the room door, you heard the glass breaking noise. Entering the room, you saw a guy around your age, or a little elder than you, having an annoyed and angry expression, just as Mrs. John said, and one of house helpers standing nervously. What happened, Jungkook? Mom, I told her to make a balanced diet dish for me, but instead of it, she brought this shit for me. He said, not caring and looking at his words, making you sigh and think that now you have to deal with a stubborn brat, not a simple patient, but not his fault somewhere. Mrs. John, you called her. She looked at you with cautioning expressions. I'll handle him from now. You guys can leave. She nodded, patting your back. She left with house helper. You looked at the Jungkook car. He was also looking at you, but his eyes were changed now. There wasn't any annoying expression or anger in them. Why? You thought. But good for you and him too. Hi Jungkookff. But he didn't let you introduce and spoke. Dr. Ryan, physiotherapist, I know. You smiled at him and walking towards him, you gestured to the nurse to prepare some examination tools. What is she going to do? He asked, pointing at nurse. He was sitting with his back leaning with bed and blanket covering his legs part, while he was wearing a black t-shirt with half sleeves. You eyed his tattoos once and looked at him to answer. She will take your blood sample and she will have a look on your legs bone. His eyes widened. What? Why she will do it? Jungkook, it's not good to look down on humans. You said in calm voice. I don't mean that. I mean that chose you to treat me, then why are the nurse? You sighed and told nurse to hand you the injection. Okay then, I'll do it myself. But his gaze went to the injection. Why this injection looked like an animal injection? He chuckled. No, this is, but then you understood he was actually afraid of injection. Jungkook, do you know what to be beautiful mean? He looked confused at your question and shook his head. Yeah, being handsome and rich. No, to be beautiful means be yourself. You don't need to be accepted by others. You need to accept yourself, believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. He listened to your every word so carefully, taking them all seriously. His eyes never left your features. He doesn't know why he was getting so relaxed by just looking at you. Oh, done. You handed the injection to nurse. What? You giggled and nurse too laughed. She bowed to you and left to hospital. Your examination is done. His eyes widened. He looked at his arm. There was an injection spot and then his leg, which had no more cover on it. Are you a magician? No, doctor. He said. That made him smile too. You noticed his smile was so pretty and his eyes were so beautiful that you can see a whole galaxy in them. Smile often, you look more handsome. Your compliment made him raise his eyebrow. Am I attracted to you or is it just volatile blood sugar? What the? You're flirting with me? He choked but he panicked. His eyes widened and he shook his head. No, these are lines my friend recommended to me. When I told him that a female physiotherapist is coming here, he shook your head. You have a naughty friend. Okay, now let's get up. He looked at you confused. Let's go. Give me your hand. Come. You stood up and grabbing his arm, you placed his slippers in right place. Did you even know that only your presence was affecting him so much just in a first meeting? He noticed and memorized every action done by you, the way you helped him to stand up on one leg. Even he is heavy but still you not even once got annoyed by his complaints of not walking and hurting. She brought him out of his room. His room was on ground floor, so it was easy. Let go of thoughts that made you weak and focus on getting stronger. It's not easy but also not impossible, okay? Sit here, good, perfect. You let him sit on couch with his legs down. When my leg is hurting, she said, feigning in pain. You became sad watching him in pain, but you pulled a normal face. Jungkook, you're so strong, keep it that way. Just then, a house helper brought hot water in a bowl and cloth to you. You sat down in front of his legs and dipped the cloth in water. What are you doing? He asked while rubbing his leg in pain. Just a little massage. The nurse was going to do it, but you didn't like her presence, so now I'm going to do it. I don't even know the P of physiotherapist, okay? If I made a mistake in the process, so just imagine it. He said and placed the cloth on his leg. Ouch, no. He screamed, but you can't get distracted by it, so you have to distract him by talking. You started to talk, and like before, he had his full attention to you and forgot about pain. But in all your work, you didn't notice Mr. and Mrs. Jones standing at second floor and looking at you and their son. Laughing and talking, they were shocked and happy at the same time because Jungkook is too stubborn to even come out of his room because he looks down on himself after the incident. But after you came, it's like his confidence grew up himself. They were happy and satisfied. You helped Jungkook to lay back in his room and also fed him breakfast. As always, he didn't eat what house helpers brought and you have to babysit him. Okay, I'll leave now, you said, picking your purse up, but he caught your wrist. You looked at him. What? His doe eyes were speaking something, but you weren't able to hear it. Nothing, you can go. You smiled and left to hospital. The heck I was thinking that I stopped her. You can tell me, son. Jung was shocked to see his mother and she heard what he said. Mama, I didn't mean what you're thinking. Mrs. Chon chuckled at her son. who is trying to lie but can't. Should I ask her to stay here for some days? Mrs. June noticed how her son's eyes shine on her words. But mom, she have other patients to deal with too. Mrs. John raised her eyebrow. When did my son start to think for others? Chung cleared his throat and looked on the side. We should not look down on other people, mom, if we are rich. Other deserves happiness too. Mrs. John was shocked at the sudden good behavior of her son. Wayne was right, he also needed to heal himself with his bones too. Okay, then I'll inform Wayne to cancel her schedule that she made after my request to stay here. Jungkook's eyes widened. You already asked her? Mrs. John nodded. Then why disturbing her? Let it be like it is. Mrs. John laughed. Oh, my son is changing his side so much. Jungkook laughed too. He knew that his mom knew him very well. Next day, you came to Jungkook home with a little luggage of clothes and other things because Mrs. John requested you and Director Jungkook will leave for some days too. You walked towards Jungkook's room but heard a woman laugh with high pitch. You peeked inside to see a girl sitting in front of Jungkook on his bed. She wasn't wearing an appropriate dress, to be honest, and you didn't like it at all. So you opened the room door and went inside. Jungkook looked at you and smiled while the girl made some annoyed expression. Jungkook, it's your exercise time. Jungkook's eyes light up at your words and you made a confused expression. Because it caused him pain, then why? He's so happy for the session. Just then you noticed gesture of his eyes. He was gesturing you to take him away from her. Now you'll understand and control your laugh. Miss, please, you have to take leave. Jungkook have a treatment session of physiotherapy. So what you do your work and I will sit here. But Jungkook shook his head looking at you. You nodded. I'm sorry miss, I can't give you permission to disturb my patient's private time. The girl's eyes widened and she got up to fight you but Zoe, leave. Oh, so her name is Zoe. She looked rich but not good manner girl. She rolled her eyes on you and picked her Gucci bag and left. Phew, she left. Thanks, man. I thought she was only eating my mind. Now ready? You said, but he made a sulky face. Oh, it's hurt. But Jungkook, you have to bear some pain to get better. Trust me, you will soon stand on your legs. His eyes shine, as always, the way you like. Okay, you pouted and you started the treatment. Time started to increase and the relationship of doctor and patient is converted into friends. You didn't even realize when and how you became this close to each other. 3 weeks later, sitting on the balcony with Jungkook, you were drinking coffee. He was looking at the view, and for you, he was the view. You don't know if he felt the same as you. When he comes close to you, your heartbeat increases. His scent make you go crazy. His smile and little chuckle gave you shivers. The way his doe eyes shine and his cute pointed nose, the feeling are more than of friendship. But when you see he's rich, handsome, and he can have more beautiful and intelligent women around him, your confidence fall there and you leave everything on fate. Ryan, you need a vitamin in your life. You got confused. Which vitamin? Vitamin ME. He laughed at his medical pickup line that he learned from his friend, that Jimin. That was a boring one, he said as a joke, but he took it seriously. Okay then, you're systematic and I'm pulmonary. So we may be divided, but together we are one. Wow, that was good. I know, but being in medical field, you can make one. Don't challenge me, you will be shocked. What if I challenge you? He looked down as he looked directly in your eyes. Are you drowning because I'm feeling an urge to give you a CPR? You sipped on your coffee, leaving Jungkook with his mouth open. Close your mouth or a fly will go inside. Closed it, getting all embarrassed. You're also good at it, and I will not mind the CPR too. You blinked your eyes at his statement. I was choking. Stop joking around and try to get up. You said, not moving from your place. What? Get up on your own. I'm sitting here. It's been 3 weeks since the treatment is going on. Now you can try it yourself. It's a punishment of joking with me too. He pouted and made his big doe eyes, but you shook your head. This face will not work. I'm not your Vianney. Right now I'm Dr. Vian. He coughed and made an annoyed face. He caught the side of your couch and put his left leg down, but the real thing was his right leg, which was fractured. He stood on one leg and slowly stretched the right leg. Your fingers clenched around the cup. Watching him in pain was the worst view ever. Ugh, he went in pain at stretching but didn't give up, like he was repeating a line in his mind to don't give up. And finally he placed his leg on ground and fall on couch. Jungkook, you place your hand over his leg, massaging it a little so he will feel warm and blood circulation will be fast. He looked at you with red eyes that show how much pain he felt. You did great. He smiled and placed his head on your shoulder, hiding his face in your neck. That took you off guard. I'll do better if you will stay with me forever. You didn't understand his word, but I have to go to hospital too. He shook his head and looked at you. His face was so close, so close to you. I don't mean by that, but staying with me by being mine and mine only. Your eyes widened at his confession. You literally raised my dopamine level, and the way you talk, leave me aphasic. You get my heart racing like an epinephrine drip. I get tachycardia when I think of you. You are a sinusoidal node of my heart. Without you, even a defibrillator wouldn't save me, and I see you in my dreams. You blink your eyes in shock. The heck, that was a confession or a medical exam question? Even they are not as hard as this confession, but you burst in laughing, making him scrunch his nose at you. Wow, Lamau, what was that? You are so mean. I confess my love to you, but by this much efforts of remembering all these medical term sheets and you're laughing? Oh my, you wiped the tears you had on sides because of laughing and sad. Emphysema puffs pink, chronic bronchitis make you blue, but no COPD make me as breathless as you. Now is that my confession, Dumbo. He ruffled his hairs, making him shocked, so you pointed his finger at you and you attached your finger with his. Yes, I love you too. He got excited and jumped, forgetting his leg. Ouch, I need your medical attention. I hurt myself pretty bad by falling for you. You laughed, grabbing his collar. You synced your lips with his, and he forgot his pain giving in to you. I used to think of you all day long. Now you even hold the monopoly of my dreams, and I don't complain because I love you.